Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of Liquidation Live with Dan and myself, Dan from Liquidation Pros.
You don't have to be a chef to make a meal that tastes.
You don't have to be a chef. But tonight we're going to be talking about trade shows, ASD, and networking. So Dan, why don't you introduce yourself?
What's going on, guys? Dan Cal here. As Chris mentioned, Liquidation Pros. You can follow me there, follow along there on YouTube or on Instagram. And I have a side liquidation business that I run, and I'm trying to give tips and tricks about my journey selling liquidation products. And today I'm excited to hear how Chris's trip was to ASD. We're going to talk about conferences. I was telling him I've never been to a vendor or reseller style product conference. I've done multiple conferences with my corporate position, but never anything like this. So have a few questions lined up, and if anyone has any questions for Chris in the chat, we'll try to get those answered.
Let's see. A bunch of people joining the chat. Welcome everyone for joining. So Dan, have you ever gone to a reselling trade show?
No, I have not.
No.
Like I said, I've gone to a few with my my other job, 3, and the one thing I did like about my corporate position is they switch the cities every year. So I've been down to out to Chicago, down to Texas. The one thing that's tough with ASD and the eBay Open is they're always in Vegas. So for me being on the East Coast, and I mean, you're pretty close to me as well. It's a flight for sure. If you have a family, have a growing family with a baby, it's just kind of tough to make it work when you're, working full time and running the side business.
I agree with that. The flight alone, I mean, usually I can get it direct there. It's about 3-hour flight, give or take. So what I've started doing, ASD starts on Sunday and it goes through Wednesday. I've started leaving on Sunday morning. I can get a direct flight and land there probably about 8:30, 9 in the morning. Then I just work my way over to the hotel. I drop my bag off at the concierge and then head right to the show. But 4 days is a little long. Maybe your first 1 or 2, I'd recommend going all the 4 days and just walk a bunch. You're going to walk all over the place. As you get more familiar with what to look for, who's going to be there, you're going to do your research before you get there. That's when you can start spending less and less time. I think next time I'm probably going to go Sunday to Tuesday, leave Tuesday evening.
Nice. Yeah, and I was looking online in preparation for our conversation, and if you go on to it's asdonline.com, there's a list, and it's over 2,500 vendors that were there this year or this spring. And you can go through and figure out which ones you want to hit and what booth they're at. I'm sure they give you that information when you're there as well. But it might be good to something to that scale that you spend maybe a day or the flight out there preparing and get a game plan on who you want to see, who your current vendors are that you want to stop by and say hi and see what's going on. Maybe make a big part of this is it's all about networking. So maybe you want to stop by, see them, see if they have any plans to go to any of the parties or dinners or whatever. Because a lot of times you might get an invite. If you're hanging out, you might get an invite to go out to dinner with them, things like that. And those are taking these relationships to the next step. So I think that planning ahead of time for conferences is really important.
Yeah, definitely. Learn the layout of them. Because with that, at least for ASD, there's 4 different buildings? 3 to 4, and then one's double, top and bottom. So someone mentioned the chat, a lot of walking.
Now, going back to the start of the week, did you shut your store down or put it on vacation and extend the handling? How did you work everything?
Usually what I do if I travel for, I say short amount of time, 4 days, 3 days, 3 to 4 days, I just extend the handling time. I think I extended out 4 days. And then no vacation settings. Just let it run, and then every day I knocked a day off. So by the time I got back, I was back to 1 day.
And how does that work for Poshmark?
Poshmark, I actually turn off. There's a vacation setting under seller tools, and I just put the dates I'm going to be there. Usually, I end up turning it off the day I'm coming back. Same with Amazon.
And then most of your Amazon stuff is FBA, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right. I still turn that off. I have a couple merchant fulfilled, so I will turn inactive.
There you go. Cool. And how were your sales while you were gone? Did you notice a decline because you were extended handling, or still pretty steady? Or
it was pretty surprising. I think I had 25 to 30 when I came back.
Wow.
So it's still even with, because if you do over 4 days in your policy, you'll get a flag saying extended handling time on your listings.
And did you get those out before back to the corporate world, or today, or still?
So actually, my flight got in at 2 a.m. Eastern. What was it, this morning? Wait, is that this morning? Yeah. So I actually packaged up everything that was due for today right after work and dropped it off at the post office.
Oh, nice.
Some in the chat had a question. Business cards. Yes. Business cards are worth it. In one sense, just if you're meeting people and you want to give them your contact information, different retailers, different vendors, give it to them and say, hey, I'm looking. You tell them exactly what you're looking for, and they'll reach out to you through email, call you. That's one thing to use it for. The other thing to use it for is when you're placing an order, put your address on there with your number and your email address. They're going to use that and fill out the invoice with it. So it's good to bring those.
Yep. And do you use Vistaprint for yours, or do you have another connection?
I actually go the cheap way, and I get the Avery blank business cards, and I have an Avery template, and I just print them off here.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Yeah, I mean, Vistaprint's pretty cheap if you're getting like over 500 or 1,000.
I've heard about that. Is that pretty easy to use?
Yeah, I mean, once you have your design, and you can do this design yourself, mine have always turned out good. And I will say their customer service is like far above anybody else I've ever dealt with. I literally, this last time, I think I got, it was 2,000 cards, because I put cards in my mailers or my products I send out for eBay. It's just the easier way to give my information out. And if they have any issues or anything like that, and, I have a little statement asking if they're not happy, if we provide anything less than a 5-star rating, please contact me directly, that type of thing. But I had, I think it was 10 boxes of cards, and they're 200 or something, 250 in each box. I can't remember. It's off the top of my head. And they sent a box of someone else's cards in there.
Oh, really?
So I just simply messaged them with a picture and said, hey, I accidentally got one box of someone else's. And they said, oh, no problem. We'll reprint them all and send you a whole new shipment. So they sent me, I only lost like 200 cards, and they sent me a whole new 2,000.
Wow.
And I've had scenarios like that before where I've actually made a mistake on my design, and it's kind of the way it printed it out. There's like a little bit of a white edge on the top. And I just said, hey, look, these didn't turn out as good as I thought. And they said, well, adjust to your print, and then we'll send you all new ones for free. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I've had a lot of luck with Vistaprint. Melissa says always use a promo code. There's tons of promo codes. Normally it's like 40% off, and if a lot of times if you're thinking about getting say 1,000, but you're on the borderline between like 500 and 1,000, if you just order the 500 immediately when the checkout's done, they'll send you a code to get another 500 for even cheaper. So it's kind of like a little hack there you can get.
There you
go. So how would you say the networking was out there?
It was pretty good. So I see in the chat here, Darren was there. Thank you for the super chat. And then Pat D says towards your new business cards. Thanks, Pat D, for the super chat. To lead into your question, I met Darren was there. Scott Liquidation King was there. In terms of the people doing the same thing you are, I think it's invaluable if you can find someone or a couple people to actually walk around the show with, because multiple eyes are better than just yours. They're looking at things that I would never look at, or they have a different perspective, and you could look at things, products in a different perspective, and potentially, look at a bundling opportunity. Some hats I wouldn't even think about reselling. So I think it's on that aspect. It's beneficial to have more than one person walk around.
Nice. And did you do much videoing while you were out there?
I did. So I got some video. I got walking around. I tried to show the different types of products that are there. Just basically the scope of it, just to give you an idea of how big it is and how many different opportunities there are there. I just need to edit it and put it out there.
Nice.
And someone asked, what's ASD? I think it's Affordable Shopping Destination. So it's called.
Yep. I always thought it had something to do with Amazon, but like I said, I only heard about it probably 3 years ago. And like I said, going back to earlier, one thing I'll always do, like this show and eBay Open, you can go online and see all the vendors that are going to be there. And the one year on eBay Open, they had a virtual thing where you could go and click on the booth and get like who's there, more detailed email information. It was very interesting. And I actually picked up a source like 2 or 3 years ago just from online without being there. So keep that in mind. I mean, there's over 2,500 people listed, at this conference Chris was just at, the ASD, and there's a lot of liquidators that were there too. I've seen a bunch of names that I'm familiar with. So,
and also, networking on terms of a vendor level, you're getting your face in front of them. You're telling them exactly what you want, what you're looking for, and they will most likely help get that product to you. Some people I have networked with now reach out to me on a regular basis saying, hey, I have, XYZ. Do you want it right now? And you better jump on it before someone else does. But I wouldn't be able to make that contact unless A, I didn't email them, or B, I didn't meet them at the show. So
now Scott's saying that eBay opens $350 right now until April. How much was ASD? How much was it to get in?
ASD, you didn't have to pay anything if you registered beforehand. You basically go to that website you mentioned. It's not open yet, but once it does open for the
July,
summer, you just go out there, you register, you get a free barcode. Just bring that piece of paper, and they give you a card, and you walk in for free. If you register at the door, it's 40. I think it's $40 or $45.
Gotcha. And did you end up finding any new vendors out there or making any orders? And can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I was trying to remember before we started who I ordered from. I ordered from actually a hat person that has NASCAR permission to create their own hats. So that's a direct source. And then they supply the hats to Trackside. I think they go to Walmart as well. Bass Pro Shop. So that I got hat person, another hat person that is not specifically sports merchandise, but military. I ordered some more jerseys from my same jersey supplier I had there. What's not? I think of a new one. Oh, some other sports stuff from another person I met, and there's one other one. Give me a second. I'll think of it.
What about while you're thinking of that? Did you? What about the liquidation aspect of it? Did you find any new interest in liquidation vendors? Did you talk to your current? I know liquidation.com was there, or at least based on online. I know I did hear that some people had gone expecting to meet up with someone, and that they never even showed up to their booth. So,
I kind of, when I first went there last time, I kind of talked with them a lot. I did not talk with many of them this time. I did talk to Via Trading, so I do need to get back with them.
Nice.
What else? I'm trying to think what else. That last order, it's upstairs.
Well, this leads right into a good question. Is someone, Simon, asking how much money would you recommend starting with, new guy? We talked about this a lot in the last show, whether it be $200 or $500, you can probably get your foot in the door. And I'd go back and listen to that other episode because we kind of went more into detail for beginners. But as far as going to a show like ASD, do they have minimum orders? What would you expect to have to spend to get in the door with the whole? They're basically wholesalers, right? Or some of them are brands as well.
Some are brands, some are wholesalers, some are closeouts. So they will get the final runs of certain product, like when Adidas or Reebok switches to Adidas in certain jerseys. But usually it depends. It depends on the vendor. This one vendor is a $300 minimum, but you have to order like hats in quantities of, I think it's 12. They certainly have minimum quantities for various items, and then a minimum total price. It all depends.
And just to give people an idea of ballpark, I know you don't have to give specifics, but like, what would you pay for a hat there? And then what do you think you'd be able to sell it for? Just to give some insight on profit margins. And
great point. Yeah. So hats, kind of the non-sports merchandise hats, they range anywhere from $1 to $3. The sports stuff goes anywhere from $4 to $6.50. That's a range. You can get the sports, the conference division winners hats, the bowl game hats. Those hats you can get really cheaply between $1 and $3 in terms of sports stuff. But jerseys range anywhere between 10 and 35. And then if you go in, there's also a portion of the show that you can deal with private label and international producers or vendors of product. For example, you can go buy these pretty cool military backpacks, but you have to order in quantities of 3,000, and they're like $30 a piece. So there's that range of what to order.
now, to someone new, would they have to worry about anything counterfeit there, anything like knockoffs, or is all the vendors been qualified? How does that work?
From what I could see, everything looked all right. I mean, you can ask sources of product, but you can most of the time tell.
Seemed pretty legit.
Most of them they will bring samples of the items. So like this jersey they would put out there, not this one, but they would put out there, and you basically sort through racks of clothes, and you can pick out, and they say, all right, we have 20 of these left. We have 3 of those left. There's clothes. There's everything there. I think Darren even, don't forget the general merchandise. You can buy cases of deodorant, cases of lotion, shampoo. There's all these different types of clothes out, general merchandise.
And then Scott's saying, don't forget about the cash and carry building. What is he referring to there?
Cash and carry. So on the other side, you can basically pay cash, and you can buy pieces of jewelry, any type of jewelry pieces. It's insane. Earrings, necklaces.
Right there on the spot.
Right on the spot, yep.
Whereas most of the stuff you're putting orders in for the future. Now, are you actually paying for it then, or just making that relationship?
So most of the ones that I do, they will take your information down, and they will invoice you and bill you once it ships. So let's say you place a $500 order. They will not bill you until they actually ship the item and get a tracking number.
Okay, that's good. Are you comfortable talking about ballpark, like what it costs your business to go out there, and what kind of tax write-offs and helpings this is for the business, or this? So basically, you got a plane ticket, you got lodging, meals.
Yeah. So let's say $350 on the flight. $300 to $400 depending where you stay at the hotel. I stayed at Harrah's, so it wasn't too bad. Just think meals probably $30 at minimum, depending where you eat. So multiply that by what, 2 to 3 a day. Yep.
Was there food at the conference, or did you have to go elsewhere?
There was, but it was like you can get burgers. It's almost like a food court that you can go in and get food. So it's like probably average there is about $20 to $15 drinking an item. Nice. So usually that's probably your best bet, unless you bring something in from the outside. Like you can go to CVS and buy something, but that's up to you.
Sweet. So overall, you're pretty happy with the trip?
Yeah. So I think the big thing is for me, now that I have these contacts, they're basically doing the work for me. They're telling me what they have, and I can order just right then. Versus me having to search for people blindly online. This is a good start for that.
Yep.
And when you're looking, someone asked for Christmas stuff. Pat DC has some booths are strictly Christmas. Some booths are strictly beard oil. It's these vendors trying to sell their products to either individual people like myself or buyers from Walmart, Hot Topic, that sort of thing. So stores will actually send their buyers to the show to purchase product for their store.
Nice. And what about, I guess you'd say, the competition? Is there a ton of other people going? Did you notice a lot of people ordering from similar booths you're interested in and potentially, causing more competition, or does it seem like it was fairly thinned out?
I think it's. I mean, there's a ton of people there. I wouldn't know. I mean, how many people have ordered, but after the fact, I don't really. You can see people like on eBay. Like I can see people that have. I know they bought the same jersey because they either use the photos that supplier sent them.
Right.
So you can kind of get an idea online, but in terms, there's so many different types of buyers from online versus to selling online versus locally.
Well, and the main question I have, and I know a lot of people in the chat, was how's the partying out in Vegas?
It's pretty. So they have. It's nice that they'll have a networking. So if you're not part of the Product Sourcing 101 group, there is a link down below. They actually had a meetup where you got like 2 drink tickets, and they had a raffle sponsored by Via Trading. So you can meet a bunch of Facebook group. Then they have a get together. They being ASD has a get together. I think Tuesday and then one Wednesday. So
were you part of the group that got kicked out of the hotel for overcapacity?
Yeah, we were in there. They actually was so 6 months ago. They had the same meetup in this. I think it was the same hotel room. They didn't charge anybody for it. Now it was basically an Amazon seller meetup, which is kind of cool. Talked to a couple of people what they do. They charge you $10. You got beer, and they catered from an Italian restaurant. So you can't beat a $10 meal in Vegas. But I don't think they planned ahead because there was a ton of people in there, and I don't think it was accurately planned.
Right. The place wasn't big enough for as many people that showed up.
Yeah. Plus the hotel, I don't think was happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do you have plans to go back in July, or are you going to skip that one?
Yeah, I think I will. I mean, got some more product coming in. I try to make it out there every 6 months, at least for networking. Probably next time I'll probably go to Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, so that right there for anybody watching should be enough to have you really consider going to a conference like this. If he's going to go every 6 months and not skip a beat, there's clearly connections to be made and inventory to be sourced out there. So I'm interested. I'm definitely going to consider it more. Like I said, right now with the baby being under a year old, it's tough. But hopefully next year, I'd like to do eBay Open and ASD in July. Just do like a long week out there.
Yeah, I think eBay Open ends middle of the week, doesn't it? Like Thursday.
Yeah, and then ASD would start up, I think, like that Sunday or the following week. So
right. Yeah, that's a good 2 weeks out there.
Yep.
I would think, not alone, just meeting other sellers like ourselves, being able to network and reach out to them, and like Darren and Scott, I can shoot them an email and ask them questions. Hey, is this a good buy? What are you up to? You can even look at combining finances and going in on a pallet. So it's different ways to look at buying too, networking with other resellers.
Gotcha.
We lost your video too.
Yeah, I'm going to work on that if you want to see if anybody has any questions down in the chat.
So, I mean, it was good. Got the orders in. Going to wait for that to come. But again, I think, I'm not sure if we mentioned this, but the more times you go, the better it's going to be. The easier it's going to be. You're going to know what to look for, and you're going to know how much you want to order. Simon, do you guys have social media pages for your business? You can find me anywhere with Liquidation OH, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. What about you, Dan? You have a website, right?
I did. I started one for the Liquidation Pros. I run my names of my business as a separate, a separate name, I guess you'd call it. The Liquidation Pros is just unique to my reselling journey, but my eBay and Amazon business is under another name. I do have an Instagram page and a Facebook page, but I'm not very active on it. I feel like most of the people that I'm selling to are strictly searching through that platform for the item they happen to buy from me. For me to, post that, hey, I got this random pair of size 9 shoes to a couple hundred or even 1,000 people, unless you're offering a pretty deep discount, the chances of someone buying that is slim. And then the time it takes to do all that posting and keep up with it. So for me, it was more of a way for someone to connect with me. If they prefer to, direct message me through Instagram instead of email, then they have that option since I made that available. So,
yeah.
And I do have that on my business cards, those handles for all the social media.
So yeah, I think we hit on it. What about you? So Dan, you said you're going to try and go into ASD coming up potentially.
Yeah, potentially. I'd love to. I think I would approach it based on what my business is. I think I'd approach it a little bit differently, where I try to hit the people that I see they have like potential inventory that could be hot or is hot, and work the returns and liquidation angle. So, hey, here's who I am. This is what I'm looking for. You can sell the new products to everyone else in here, but I'm interested when they buy it and get the returns or anything coming back to you. I'd be interested in the closeouts and that type of stuff. So I just I still do some wholesale, but I'm finding that the margins are so much better with liquidation, and I just enjoy that. It's kind of more of my passion.
Right, and there's definitely opportunity there. Get your name out there, tell them what you're looking for, and they're gonna find it because they know that they can turn it quick once they tell you about it.
Yeah, and as these larger sellers are growing, a lot of them don't have a source yet for their returns. You can talk to some of the big Amazon sellers that are at the different parties and whatnot, and the multi-million-dollar Amazon sellers are dealing with the same problem. And unfortunately, a lot of them are throwing most of the stuff away or having Amazon destroy it or send it, which ends up going to liquidation.com in a lot of cases. So if you can cut that route out and go get direct inventory from them, that's kind of where I want to be sitting.
Yep. And they do have the ability. So if you do want to start a small order, what I did is I started small in a couple items. So bought a case of something, 12 to 24 pieces. You can test it and see how it goes. And if it does well, you just call them up and you can say, hey, now I want 4 more cases. So that's another way to look at it. Test the product depending on the quantities and then grow from there.
I do have a couple house cleaning items if you want to knock a few things off.
Sure, go for it.
How'd you make on the shoes before you left? I know you were starting to list, and did you get deep into them or are you still working on them?
Still working on them. I sold another pair though, 75.
Sweet. And what about a potential photographer helper?
Just looking at it now, making to try to see the viability of it, given if I can get enough.
Yep.
I talked to a clothing vendor out there that actually goes through, I think it's Nordstrom's or Macy's returns, and they go through and make sure they're sellable condition. So they'll touch each piece, which basically gives you a better product at the end. So I talked to her, and I'm going to try and get a small box from her to see if we can potentially work that option.
Nice. Yeah, I've gotten through most of my shoes. I literally have a few left to check. I was working on before we started this. So,
are they all listed or all sold?
So I have about 100 pairs I'm saving for next year. They were more winter, like boots, and then some of them are like cheaper. They're going to be local flea market or yard sale. It's not worth listing, so that's real easy. Just kind of put them to the side until I'm ready for that local action. But I listed probably about 100 pairs out of the 300 so far, and 100. So I personally only have like another 20 pairs to go through and prep, and I have probably another 50 or 75 pairs that are all labeled ready for my photographer.
Yeah.
So
nice.
They went pretty smooth. I mean, I would guess I had less than 8 hours in that job for 2 pallets of shoes. So
you're looking to order again soon?
Yeah, well, I got 2 more pallets of winter closeout stuff coming. So jackets, some winter gloves, stuff like that. But once again, most of that stuff I will store for next winter and post a lot of it in like September, October. So that'll be a pretty quick process and kind of storing it until then.
Nice.
But yeah, that's update on that.
And I don't think we asked, how are your sales this week?
Amazon's been real steady and good for me. I had a sale yesterday. Someone bought 7 pairs of the same exact Calvin Klein jeans off Amazon. Whoa. I was kind of nervous about that, but I don't know. Everything went through and they got shipped to them, so we'll see. I mean,
There you go.
I don't know why they. I guess I was a little bit worried about like someone doing like a test buy for a IP claim, but I don't. I mean, I have receipts and stuff. Just anything like that always takes time, so it's in the back of your mind. And then I did a lot of the DJ stuff was like new open box. So instead of sending that all in, I have a bunch of stuff listed, merchant fulfilled. I did get one sale the day before yesterday, and I just did it over the weekend. So just Saturday started listing merchant fulfilled to try that out. I will send eventually some to FBA, but I just haven't had time yet. So, and then eBay now is picking up because we just listed in the past 10 days, I listed about $5,000 worth of inventory. So it's starting. Well, anytime you list, you're going to get a quick boost within the first day or two.
Oh yeah.
So, and the shoes that I've been listing have already started selling. I think I have 3 or 4 pairs that sold today. So that's good. What else? And then I'll be working on taxes this week, starting tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be me too.
Yeah, so probably won't have a ton of information or exciting stuff next week. I mean, next week that the winter stuff will come in, but tomorrow and over the weekend I'm gonna be working on getting all my tax stuff together. So
nice.
what else to have? And I still have some YouTube stuff I need to edit and post, but that's kind of on the back burner right now with everything else I got going on.
Yeah.
What else you got for this upcoming week?
I gotta continue listening. Got to get back in the grind here. Feel like I'm way behind now. That's the only bad side. Now I got to get back into the swing of it, getting back in the swing of listing and shipping every day.
Well, it's kind of like a work vacation. You know, you got away from it. You got, to hang out with some sellers and stuff. But anytime you leave your business and come back from vacation, it's like catch up. It's like, man, I need a vacation from vacation. You get back and you have a bunch of stuff to ship. You're behind. So I know that feeling.
Yeah.
But
so that's all I'm doing this week.
Yeah, I'm coming up on more of a relaxed couple of months, spring, summer. We have a bunch of projects to do around the house, but like I try to bust my butt from like October to like spring, now March, April.
Yeah.
And I'll work late at night, do whatever it takes. But then once it gets nice out, you'll find me outside and whatnot. And I'll have plenty of work for my girls to take care of. So
there you go. All right. Any final comments? Trade shows, networking?
No, I mean, though I haven't gone, I highly recommend going just from my experience from going, to trade shows in the corporate world. We've, made a lot of good connections, and also the biggest thing for me is networking with your current clients or vendors or people you're working with, getting out there and showing your face, because a lot of times you're talking on the phone or emailing and you've spending all this money with this company or this person and you've never shook their hand or met them before. And the way that, you can run a business now, you can do that all online. You never have to talk to or see anybody. So It's good to get out and make face. And then that way, the next time you're asking for a little bit of a better price break or something like that, or it might come naturally. They might just say, hey, here's another extra 10% off. Now, not necessarily now that I know who you are, but they get to finally meet the person on the other side and see that you're a human being and that nice guy, nice girl, whatever. And it just goes a long way to go out and meet your vendors.
I agree. Get your name out, your face out there, and let them know what you're looking to find. Before we go, make sure you subscribe to Dan's channel. I'm gonna put in the description once this is over. Give him a subscribe because we will most likely be on his show next week, Thursday at 10. All right. Anything else?
That's all I got, man. Good show.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys. See you.